Hey, welcome to See It and Feel It with Dr. Brett. And I'm Dr. Brett, and I'm here today with Zach Rance, a real estate guy, an entrepreneur, right? Triathlete, a podcaster. I mean, you're kind of interesting. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, Dr. Brett. I'm happy to be here.
Awesome, man. So you found me by looking at I have these Dr. Brett vanity plates. It's kind of fun. And you were like doing your thing at the beach in Jupiter,
That's
running
right.
by.
Yep.
And you snagged me that way. And I asked, hey, what kind of doctor are you?
Yep.
Is that, something you do a lot? Like, how's that work?
I
liked it.
I appreciate that. I kind of just listen to my gut. I do say hi to the people in the elevator, and I ask the Publix cashier how they're doing, what are they doing this weekend, just to have conversation. It feels good to just talk to people, get to know someone, But I saw your license plate, Dr. Brett, and I saw you unloading the fishing poles, and I just felt called to talk to you.
Yeah, it's funny because whenever I go to the beach, I take the dog every morning during the week, and I have to have the fish poles just in case, because you never know. Because one time I got caught with like a little pole, and I was out there in a mullet school, snagged a mullet, put them on live, and I only had my little pole, not the big one.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got a 100-pound tarpon, and he just ripped out all the line, and I was done. Like literally, it was a 10-second experience of pure joy. But then I realized, I had he overpowered, I had nothing. I just had my little pole with no pound test. So I have 2 poles when I go to that dog beach.
There you go.
I know you golf. Do you fish?
I don't fish, no.
fishing?
I mean, growing up in Florida by the beach, I would go fishing with my friends. I'd go on my friends' boats and stuff, but I never enjoyed it. And I've tried a lot of times to go on my friend's boat, and I've tried deep water fishing. I do some bass fishing around PJ National with my little brother.
Oh, okay, cool.
So we do some of that, but I'm not a big...
Like in those little lakes?
We catch some slobs, my brother calls them. He's 16, he calls them slobs.
I love it.
No, I never really got into fishing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get seasick too.
Oh, yeah, well,
I get a little
seasick is tough.
Yeah.
Yeah. But is fishing too slow? I know, is that part
fishing
of it?
Is a little
slowing
slow,
down?
Requires a lot of patience. And I'm not good at slowing down.
Where
golf is kind of the same way, where you got to have patience and stuff.
Yeah, you got to be in the moment, right? Yeah. Like crazy in the moment.
But I think the difference of why I like golf more than fishing is that golf, you can constantly get better and constantly get better at hitting the ball. With fishing, it's just kind of, I just feel like you're sitting there and...
Yeah, you gotta, fishing is kind of amazing. I love it, but because it's all about nature and everything, but you're waiting, and then all of a sudden you have like moments of chaos or action, right? Whereas like golf there's still a lot of waiting compared to other sports, but every couple of minutes there, you got your thing, right? How long have you been, I know you played basketball, right? You grew up playing what, football and basketball?
Football, basketball, golf were my main sports.
Yeah.
And
were you a defensive back? I'm just guessing.
I was. I was like a cornerback.
No way. I just had that feeling. You never told me that. Yeah. Totally.
I was never that good though. Just being like short and kind of smaller.
Right.
Was never any
opportunity.
You
look fast though. I mean, you were fast and tough.
Yeah. I am fast.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of energy. I can get across the field pretty quickly.
Yeah. You hit pretty hard, I would imagine.
Yeah. Had a couple concussions, and my mother wasn't happy with that. But I stick to golf, and now I do the triathlete. So
tell us about the training and how that's going.
Honestly, it was very spontaneous as far as how it started. I'm a certified life coach.
Oh yeah, forgot to introduce that. Sorry, he's a life coach too.
I think you might have said that actually.
Did I say life coach
Maybe
too?
Maybe you did.
All right.
But
his energy is getting my energy up. It's like we got a life coach here as well.
One of my clients was like, Zach, can you help me run an 8-minute mile? I said, dude, you can do that right now. He goes, no, I really can't. I say, tie your shoes.
Yeah.
I'm going to tie my shoes. We're going to run together on the phone. I said, you're going to pretend this is for $1 million. And when you think that you're done and that your chest is tight, you're only at 40%.
Yeah.
It's all mental.
Yeah, well, in 8 minutes, definitely.
Yeah, it's all mental.
If he had said 6-minute mile, you might have lost him.
Right. And he ended up hitting his 8-minute mile. I ended up hitting like a 5:55, and I was like, wow, I'm pretty impressed with myself. I don't really run often. And then I go all in on everything I do.
Right.
The next minute, I'm signing up for an Ironman triathlete, hiring an endurance coach.
Wow.
Yeah.
Pretty cool stuff.
So now I've been training for almost 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
I got my first half marathon in Orlando, December 13th.
Wow.
And then I got Boston Marathon qualifiers on February 13th in Arizona.
Wow.
So and you know what? It's been really good for me. It's given me a lot of purpose as someone who wakes up super early to go to the gym, just early riser and want to get a lot done in the morning. this time commitment of putting 2-hour trainings on the calendar.
Right.
It's really forcing me to level up and get quality sleep and be more
I like
diligent.
it, to level up. It's a good expression.
Yeah, and be more diligent with my time
Be more
management
accountable,
skills.
right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's giving me more purpose, and
Yeah.
it lights a fire in my
Yeah.
soul, and I'm feeling good. I feel great
Well,
mentally,
yeah,
physically.
doing a lot of training. They all pretty much helps, though, right?
It can't hurt.
What's the hardest part for you about the training? What's the most difficult?
The hardest part is it's been an ongoing experiment of my diet and my nutrition.
Got
As
it.
someone who does eat extremely healthy,
Yeah.
I'm burning close to 3,000 calories 5 times a week. It's
Yeah.
important for me to get a lot of food in my body.
Yeah.
But just listening to my body, listening to my head, and trying to feel how different types of meals and when I eat. Should I eat an hour before my training session? Should I eat 2 hours before my training session? But I think the diet has been the biggest challenge for me. But I enjoy the challenge.
Yeah, no, 100%. So the diet part's the hardest part. I get that. For a lot of people, that's the case, right? Food, people struggle with food, right? It's like one of those things that is super, super challenging. In your past, were you ever out of shape? Because you look like you're pretty freaking
I don't
fit,
think
man.
I was ever out of shape. I was kind of just born lean. And
Yeah, totally.
So
what do you say to people that are have struggled with, obesity or struggled with food addiction?
What do I say to someone who struggles with obesity and struggles with food addiction is just try to get 1% better each and every single day.
Wow, look at that.
It's a constant journey. We have nowhere to go. We have nothing to achieve.
Oh,
and we have nothing to
he's
accomplish.
Stealing a line from me over here, by the way.
But it's true, right? I mean, at the end of the day, we're on this constant journey. It's not the destination that we're trying to get to. There's no finish line. We're just appreciating every single step up our mountain. And if you could just be 1% better, and if you're dealing with obesity, walk 10,000 steps today, walk 10,001 steps tomorrow, 10,002 steps on Thursday, X, Y, et cetera,
but it
et
might be 500 to start, maybe not 10,000 to start, right?
Yeah.
You're struggling with obesity, right? I'm not sure how many people can you start at 10,000?
Right. 10,000 isn't as much as you think. I mean, it ends up being 2.5 miles.
Yeah.
Which you could walk in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So. But no, you're absolutely right.
No, I could tell that you've probably worked mostly with people that are pretty fit, because people that start out, some people really they're not like us. They don't exercise. I exercise every day of my life in some way, but a fair amount of people don't exercise much at all.
Right.
So you're probably not going to, even though 10,000 steps doesn't sound like a lot, for some people it actually is.
Good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's that
Very true.
slowing down thing, being present, nowhere to go, nothing to accomplish, nothing to achieve. That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Awesome. So what's your favorite part of life right now?
My favorite part of life right now, getting closer to God.
Getting closer to God.
Yeah, no, that's
we got
my
a
favorite
deep
part.
guy here, so this is interesting.
Yeah, getting closer to God every single day is what.
So what does that
enjoying my
mean,
life.
getting closer to God? I don't let anybody get away with anything in terms of I'm trying not to make any assumptions here.
What does that mean, getting closer to God? It's funny because it kind of takes on a new meaning as I get closer to God.
Ah, okay.
You know what I mean?
Well, what's your experience of God? 'Cause to me, it's an experience.
Yeah, so my experience of God, I'm very spiritual, and I believe that we're all connected in some way, shape, or form.
Wow.
And I believe that everything happens for a reason. Maybe it wasn't destined to happen that way or manifested to be that way, but everything does happen for a reason because of karma.
Oh, okay.
You put good stuff out, you get good stuff back. You put bad stuff out, you get bad stuff back.
Mm.
And I feel
now, is it in this lifetime? Because one of my playful jokes is that, I'm going to be all set for next lifetime, but who knows about, right? The playful part, right, is that you don't know that karma comes back right away, right?
Exactly. No, that's a good point. So for this lifetime, and that's a really good question. Is it for next lifetime too? I believe so.
Yeah.
I believe so. And as long as you believe and you have that faith and you have that hope in life after death, and you have that faith and hope that, if you do good stuff will happen to you. And if we all, as the human race did that,
God, or even just did a little bit.
You know what I mean?
Right?
Yeah. So that's what I think is getting closer to God. Again, we're on this rock spinning in outer space, and I think that there's someone or something, whether it's an alien or God or whoever
An alien.
is
That's
watching
pretty funny.
us. They're
Yeah.
watching us, and they're like,
Yeah.
"Yo, why are you guys so obsessed
Yeah.
about this election? Why are you guys
Yeah. But
so?"
what if they're in the shape of a rock or something? Maybe it's not like this alien doesn't.
They might be,
Right.
or maybe it's just a spirit. Maybe it's just a cloud of stardust. Who
Right.
knows?
Interesting. Yeah. So this is part of the reason why we connected the way we did, right? Because I do have a similar belief system. I do believe in karma as well. I'm curious, do you believe in past lives though? Do you
Yes.
believe that energy transmits that there's a soul and it transmits from lifetime to lifetime?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Like I was Martin Luther King or George
Gandhi
Washington
or
Yeah,
something?
possibly.
Or like a homeless bum or something. as
Possibly.
well. Yeah, that's the complicated part. If you actually believe in this, you start to like worry that your like next life might be like a homeless bum or something, right? Where you're like,
But if you
oh,
continue to
God.
stay
I'm being
spiritual,
playful, like
right? But you're
obviously,
absolutely right. But
but-
if you continue to stay spiritual and you don't have any cravings to anything, and you don't have any aversion against
Yeah.
anything, and you're not judgmental, and you are just cultivating inner peace and
Yeah.
joy, whether you're a homeless bum or a
Right.
famous rock star, you're happy.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure. I'm going to do the maybe thing or whatever. But I think it is interesting that, the thing about you said about cravings or whatever, I wonder if that's possible though, to not have cravings. I know the Buddha pulled that off, but most of us aren't going to be a Buddha in this lifetime.
and
So
it's tough.
how do you handle this thing called cravings? And how do you teach some of your clients? Now, I know you're doing real
I'm
estate
not
as
too
well.
good at it, honestly.
Yeah.
That's probably one of my weaknesses is
Yeah.
craving. I do have a lot of guilty pleasures that
Yeah.
are hard for me to resist, but
Yeah.
we all do.
Yeah.
And keeping it in perspective and having self-compassion. None of us are
Yeah.
perfect, right?
Yeah, totally.
Be nice to yourself. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay to screw up sometimes.
Yeah. So the idea is not necessarily to not have cravings, but to like really, like you said, get a little bit better each and every day, right? We don't want to give in to certain ones, right? Because like I do a lot of work with athletes, right? And a lot of work with entrepreneurs too. But the conversations a lot with the adolescent athletes is we have to minimize the drugs and alcohol. We're not cutting it out entirely most of the time. Sometimes it's necessary. Some people, as you know, some people can't handle moderation. And in that case, they probably do have to cut it all out, which is
Sure.
really difficult.
Yeah.
But for a lot of people, we need to minimize the drugs and alcohol, that kind of thing, or porn, or whatever the addiction is. We need to minimize the exposure because it interferes with their performance.
Yeah.
Right. As a triathlete, though, it's almost a little bit different, right? In your case, you're not minimizing the performance piece. You're minimizing these elements that would affect the performance, right?
Exactly.
Which would be, again, drugs, alcohol, whatever the thing is
Sure.
that slows you down, right, in terms of performance.
Absolutely.
How's that going?
It's going pretty well. I'm making a ton of progress each and every single week.
Yeah.
Feeling good, and I got some races coming up where I'll be able to show off my performance. And because it's important that when you train, you don't go too hard.
Yeah.
The
You've
real
had
goal.
injuries, though.
Yes, and the
So
real
you
goal is
learn
to,
that from the injuries in part, right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
And I don't want to make a bunch of steps forward just to make more steps backward.
Right.
So it's all about really just slowly and continuously making progress each and every day. So
Right.
I haven't really been able to show off my high performance capabilities yet. So and how am I dealing with that? I mean, I think I'm doing it's going pretty well. It's going pretty
It
well.
sounds like there's a huge mindfulness piece of this, though, right? It's like you're talking about self-awareness. You really are, right? Knowing when to sort of like pull it back a little bit, right? So that you don't get injured.
Yeah.
What do you do to train your mind here?
That's
What
a
are you
great
doing?
question. So obviously everything's an experiment.
Yeah.
I have some runs where I just the whole time I say, what are you thinking about? 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 And because I'm saying that, I'm not thinking about anything.
So it's like a mantra in a way.
It's
like
a mantra.
You're using it as a mantra.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah.
So that helps me. And then I do a lot of talking to myself. I'm like walking. I'm like, all right, so what do I want to say to myself? Wow, like look at that tree. That's a gorgeous tree. Or oh my gosh, like the wind feels really good at my back right now. Oh, look how nice that condo is. And saying it out loud.
Look how nice that condo
Saying
is.
it out loud,
That's
I
funny.
think
I
is
like
really
that.
important.
Yeah.
Almost like distracting myself
Yeah.
from what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Because running has become
from what you're doing, meaning the pain element.
exactly,
of it. Right.
exactly.
Yeah. So
because
there's a pain element, right?
Of course.
So yeah.
Yeah. So that kind of helps.
Yeah.
And again, it's a constant experiment.
Yeah.
Figuring out what works.
When you're working with a lot of people, though, you realize that everybody's sort of wired a little bit differently, right? So the key is to then have people figure out, right, to help people figure out what's best for them.
Sure.
So for you, it sounds like the mantra and the self-talk, the repetitive mantra and that talking out loud, because other people are uncomfortable talking out. I don't have a problem. I mean, we're genetic Jews. I think that might be part of it.
Yeah.
Like, we're talking out loud. It is what it is. By the way, if you're in New York City and you're talking out loud, it's kind of normal. Like in other places, right? Other cultures, other places, it's like not a good thing. But there are certain places where everybody sort of talks to themselves. Right?
Very true.
You haven't spent much time. You went to University of Florida, right? Oh, so tell us about this Big Brother thing. You know what I mean? This guy was an actor at some point and like was on TV and had a whole experience around your ego. Yeah. Tell us about that.
So in 2014, I was cast to be on a reality show called Big Brother. And Big Brother is a game with 16 strangers, 8 guys, 8 girls, all competing for $500,000 through physical competitions, endurance competitions, intelligence competitions. And it's a game show. It's almost like a social society experiment in the sense that like we're all thrown in this house, we're completely disconnected from the world, and you have to create friendships and allies and be trustworthy, likable, but also manipulative. Yeah. And you also need to be good at lying, which is something I'm not good at. I'm very open and transparent.
Now, did you get better at lying for the show? How did you handle the manipulation piece of the show?
That's a good question. I didn't have a strategy.
Oh.
I was 23 years old.
23, yeah. Totally.
I was 23. I said, hey, look, I'm going to be on TV. This is going to be a good time. Everyone's going to see me on their TVs. And I wasn't really going into it. Obviously, I wanted to win. That was the goal.
Right.
But
$500,000.
It's a lot of money.
23 years old.
That would have been awesome. So long story short.
Is that tax-free? Just kidding.
No, nothing is. And I ended up coming off the show, made it pretty far, had a good experience. And after the show, I went into like a deep depression. I just like didn't really know what I wanted to do with my life. And since then,
did you move to LA for a while?
I moved to New York City.
Okay, because usually when people get that acting bug thing, it's either New York or LA. Yeah,
right. I tried. I gave it my best shot, but I'm glad it didn't work out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad it didn't work out.
Do you like it here, but as opposed to like how long were you in New York for?
Only like 4 months.
Oh, got it.
Yeah, no, I like it here way better. It's where I belong, near the beach. Yeah. Golf course. Yeah. Low property taxes.
Yeah. No taxes in terms of income too, right? I mean, that makes a huge difference. Texas and Florida are just going to be more and more popular.
By the minute.
Right? By the minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do real estate, so it must be actually a pretty good time right now.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, it's kind of tough right now with COVID going on and inventory's low.
But Florida, I thought people are, a lot of people got out and it got a little bit more.
Of course.
So inventories are low. What makes it hard right now for real estate? COVID makes showing a place difficult?
There's a lot of barriers that stop most agents from doing well. I think competition plays a big part. Now, I live in abundance. I'm not the type of person who's gonna be like, oh my God, there's so much competition, I can't make any money. But I think that because the top 1% of real estate agents in Palm Beach County sell 90%.
Is it that much? 90%?
I mean, you don't quote me on those numbers, but
it's probably something like that.
Yeah, the top agents do 40 to 80 mil a year. And then the agents that aren't in the top are struggling to do like 6 deals a year.
How long have you been doing the real estate thing?
I've been in real estate now for almost 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's long enough to sort of get the real feel of the deal, right? So you must be starting to build out, though, I would imagine, because it's all about relationships,
It gets easier over time. I have clients that refer me to their friends, that refer me to the coworkers and things like that. And I sold a couple big houses, so that helps me moving forward.
So what's the hardest part of real estate for you?
The hardest part of real estate for me, I don't really have that passion.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
Is the life coaching thing more of a
absolutely.
passion?
Yeah, life coaching. Yeah. I love life coaching so much more. I feel fulfilled and accomplished when I'm able to change someone's life.
Yeah, so you're wired that way, right? I call it wired as a giver or wired to make a difference. Some of us are wired that way, right? Have you felt like that's true for you?
Oh, of course. I've been
since age 6, 8?
Yeah,
when did you figure it out?
My whole life I've been a natural coach. I'm always that guy who's hyping up my friends, who's there for my friends. I'm always that guy who's leading by example.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not the type of person who talks about what I'm going to do. I
Yeah.
just do it and I fail fast and I do
Yeah.
it better the next time.
Yeah.
So, you know, I feel like that leadership piece is really important. And also being able to talk to people and being able to get people to open up, because as a coach, as you know, like, you know, we're not there to tell people what to do.
Yeah.
We're there to co-create.
Occasionally, I often say,
Of course.
you know, no cocaine and whores. Like I do say that occasionally.
No,
it's a metaphor for like, you know, not being, you know, too self-sabotaging, right? Occasionally.
Yeah. So I've been a natural coach my whole life.
Yeah.
And now I'm just doing it for a living.
Yeah. Awesome. I love it. What are you curious about while you have me here? Anything you want to ask or you're curious about?
What do I want to ask Dr. Brad? I mean, I really reached out to you for the first time to learn how you can help me with my races. Like, what can I do mentally to cultivate a better mindset going in? Because on a macro scale, I'm doing this for fun. I think my purpose, my why of why I'm doing this for purpose is on point. Where it's like,
really fun.
Yeah,
that's great.
Fun.
I mean, that's great.
I love training.
And also to challenge yourself,
yes,
right?
That
and
too.
also to have those, like, it's like a peak performance experience, right? So you want to have that experience. Like I've done it on golf courses, right? Where you just, like I was like in a club championship match where I was 4 down at the turn playing like the former club champion. And I caught him on 17 with a birdie and birdied 18 to win. And it was one of those experiences where, you know what I mean, where literally, like I was so high that night, right? Because like, I mean, to catch somebody going for, you know, he's a scratch golfer, he's a 1 handicap.
Were you playing in the same group?
No, well, there was 4 of us, right? So it was like me versus him, and there was another match going on, but we were so dialed in. Right. And then the next day I played another former club champion, and they didn't have that same juice. Right. And I lost on the 18th hole or whatever. But that peak performance experience, birdieing 17 and 18 to win after being 4 down at the turn, it's kind of like what you're describing as you push yourself through these barriers.
Yeah, new PRs every single time, new personal records every single time.
Yeah.
How fast can I run this time?
Yeah. So you know, I work a lot with meditation, mindfulness, visualization, breath work. You're doing the positive self-talk. What are you doing there in terms of meditation? I know you're practicing mindfulness, but we haven't really talked about the visualization and meditation stuff.
Yeah.
Are you doing a fair amount of that?
Yeah, I meditate every single day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I meditate for 15 minutes in the morning.
Nice.
Yeah, so in the morning, as soon as I sit down, I really try to cultivate like a sense of presence. This is where I'm at, and this is what I'm doing. You know, this is what I'm doing. And then from there, I'll do some positive affirmations. I live in abundance. I'm extremely grateful. But not just saying those affirmations, but feeling those affirmations. Literally trying to change the chemical makeup and the physiology of my body as I'm, you know, radiating and projecting out these frequencies from my heart. And then from there, I'll do a body scan from top to bottom, and I'll relax my forehead, relax my nose, relax my jaw, relax my shoulders, all the way down to my ankles and my toes.
Wow, it's pretty good stuff. So what could help, you know, you're asking about what sort of takes you to the next level. I think as you're in these meditative states is you want to start visualizing and seeing yourself in the performance, seeing yourself running relatively effortlessly without pain, you know, sort of like at your best. The more you see yourself running or swimming or biking at your best, like the more likely you're like, because what happens in visualizations is the mind doesn't really know the difference between the physical and what is going on like neurologically there. So that kind of, that visualization experience, because you're the kind of guy that would probably do it often, the more you do it, because I've played like some of my best rounds of golf have been through visualizations. Like I shot as a 6 handicap, I shot a 66 twice in my life it was par 69 course, so it wasn't 72. But I did that by doing meditative states and visualizing for like every day for a month. And then I go out there, I visualized a 65, by the way, and I went out there and shot a 66. I lipped out for the 65. So you don't always get what you want in this lifetime, as we both know, but that visualization experience, the more you visualize, the better. The more you see in your mind's eye how you want to run. You can even visualize your form. You can visualize your confidence, your ability to handle the pain. You can visualize all of it. And the more you sit in those meditative states and go into those visualizations, I think that'll help more than anything at this stage. Yeah.
That's good
And
advice.
he's the kind of guy that'll definitely like do it.
Yeah.
Because some people you talk to about visualizations and they just don't really practice it because it's not always that easy. For me, it's never been an automatic. I had to sort of develop that ability. Some people are better that way than others, right? I don't know how you're wired that way.
Yeah, no, I think I can definitely do that.
Yeah.
I
Awesome.
appreciate that.
Really good stuff. Anything else you want to ask while we got you?
Anything else? No, I think that was really helpful.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely going to keep you in the loop, and maybe we can do another.
You and I are going to golf.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
That'll be fun.
All right. So thank you again, Zach Rance, for joining us. Life coach, real estate agent, triathlete. I'm Dr. Brett. And if you like what you see, please subscribe to my channel. Thanks a lot.
You can find me on Instagram at Zach Rancey, ZachRancey. You can find me on Spotify, Life Coach Zach Podcast, or go to my website, lifecoachzach.com.
Thanks a lot. Welcome to See It and Feel It with Dr. Brett.